This is Kyle Woodleaf at Redline Report, just recently back from the World Junior Championships out in Regina and Saskatoon, out in Saskatchewan. Very interesting and revealing competition over the course of 10-12 days out there. Not too many draft eligibles in this year's tournament, but a few guys did stand out and really helped their draft stock. A couple of the Swiss kids, Nino Niederreiter, started out slowly in the early round robin portion, but was dynamite for Switzerland in the medal rounds, leading them all the way to the semifinals. Certainly not anticipated for Switzerland to go that far in the tournament, but he basically single-handedly took over the quarterfinal game against Russia, and it was just phenomenal, scoring the tying goal and setting up the winning goal in overtime. So Niederreiter was a real driving force for Switzerland, a very surprising Swiss club, making it all the way to the semifinals. The other half of that tandem was their goaltender, Benjamin Cones, who was overlooked in last year's draft. We had him ranked as about a fifth-round pick in the NHL draft last year at Redline. He didn't get selected. He is kind of a roly-poly guy with not much style, but he stops a lot of rubber, and he really helped himself with this performance for Switzerland. I think he stopped almost 50 shots in that quarterfinal game against Russia, and for the last 3 games that Switzerland played, he was averaging over 40 shots per game and was coming up standing on his head. So Cones is back on the map and will probably get drafted this year after being overlooked last year based on that outstanding performance. The other kids, Taylor Hall is the obvious one, the #1 rated prospect, playing for Team Canada, did very well in the tournament, showed off his creativity and his soft hands on numerous occasions, and did basically everything that you could expect an underager to do at a tournament that's usually dominated by 19-year-olds. And of course, you can't overlook what Jack Campbell did in the nets for the United States. The United States would not have won that gold medal without Jack Campbell in net, and it's the first time that I can personally ever remember a 17-year-old netminder leading his team to the championship at the World Juniors. It's a very prestigious tournament that's been going on for 35 years or more now, and I cannot ever remember a 17-year-old goaltender leading his club to the gold medal. He came in a very difficult situation midway through the game when they pulled their starter. The score was tied at that point, 3-3. He settled things down, allowed the United States to get a couple of quick goals and get on top 5-3, and then was able to hold on for the win. And again, Jack Campbell, you don't really measure this kid by numbers. What you measure him by is what all goaltenders are measured by when it comes down to it. Wins and losses at the critical moments and the crucial games that they play in. He comes up big under pressure. So Campbell's a guy who really elevated his stock. And the last player I want to mention is Evgeny Kuznetsov, the winger from Russia. Showed a lot of skill, a lot of puck handling ability, scored a couple of highlight reel goals. So Kuznetsov from the Russians is one player who showed better effort than we've seen from him in the past, showed all the requisite skill that we've always seen from him, and he moved up further into the first round in our rankings at Redline Report. One player who did not perform quite as well as was anticipated coming off an injury was Mikael Granlund, the tremendously creative Finnish center who's a top 10 prospect, but didn't look like he was fully healthy yet. And so Granlund didn't have a great performance for Finland and probably dropped down a couple of notches in our eyes at Redline Report. So that's our wrap-up report from the World Juniors, and we will see you again next week.